Hello, namaste, and welcome in the series of cybersecurity. This side is Meena, and today I will discuss about how do hackers attack on a DHCP server. What is DHCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. We are having so many devices in our network, and to assign the IP addresses, there are we can say two methods basically. Either we will assign it manually one by one to all the devices, or we are having automatic method. In automatic method, there are two types. Either we are having DHCP server, okay, domain host configuration server, configuration protocol server, which will assign automatically IP address to the client who will request get the IP address automatically from the DHCP. Clear? If in the network we are not having any DHCP server and we haven't configured the IP addresses manually, there is another method, third method we can say. Automatically the PC will wait for the device for the server, and if it will not get the IP address automatically from the range of the ABIPA, okay, automatic private IP addresses assignment, they will assign themselves automatically IP address which is valid in the local area network. Okay, so DHCP is very essential in the networking, and to assign the IP addresses. Why this is so important? Uh, just think for a moment. If a company is very big and it is having 10,000 end devices or more than that, so for a administrator it will be a cumbersome time of job. It will be very difficult to assign the IP addresses for all the machines and making the record of all these devices. Yes, whose MAC address is the particular MAC address of that devices, and what's the IP addresses of that particular devices. It's very difficult to manage all these things. So here is the role of the DHCP, and hackers are not even leaving that DHCP server not to attack. They will also attack on the DHCP server, and what's the motive behind that I will just discuss in today's session. So let's start. You can see here the working of the DHCP server. Okay, I'm not just going to discuss each and everything about all the packets that's related to DHCP. So here the few of them I'm just talking about. Which is for remembering easy, you can say Dora. Okay, here is the DHCP client. We will assign it on the get IP address automatically from the DHCP. Okay, so here in our organization, for example, this is the DHCP server, correct? So first of all, what will the process is to get the IP addresses? First of all, the client will send a discovery packet, discovery message we can say. It will broadcast because now it is not having any IP addresses, just the MAC addresses that is already on the LAN card by this virus or wireless or the wired LAN card. Okay, so that is already on it. It's specified by the vendor. Clear? So it will just ask who is the DHCP server. I need a IP address for my machine. Okay, so this is the broadcast address. Make a record of it. It is a broadcast address. It doesn't know where is the DHCP server, who's the DHCP server. So it will just send a broadcast request to all of the machine on the network. Clear? So DHCP server will send a unicast message to the client. I am the DHCP server. Here is my IP address. For example, say 192.168.0.1. For example, this is the IP address of the DHCP server, and it's saying I'm the DHCP server. I'm just offering you a IP address. Would you love to have it? Okay, and before getting the complete acknowledgement, it will not assign IP address to itself. So meantime, there can be more other client which will ask the IP addresses. So it's not having guarantee whether that's IP address is still available or not. Okay, so again the client will send a broadcast. I'm just requesting for the IP addresses which you offer to me. Clear? And it will be again the broadcast message. Clear? And then it will send request to the DHCP server. DHCP server in this time will send again a unicast message, because it's no to, yes, this I'm receiving the message from this particular machine. Send a unicast message and making a guarantee, yes, this is the IP address which I offered to you and which you requested to have it. I'm just assigning to you. For example, say 192.168.0.13 is the IP address assigned to this machine, say machine. Okay, so whatever the MAC address that is related to this PC, it will just make a record in its table. Okay, DHCP table. This IP address I have assigned to the particular time of period, whatever the lease line is, lease time is defined in the DHCP scope. Okay, and rest of the things as well, what is the DNS server, what are the default gateway, or whatsoever we have configured on the DHCP server, all the information it will just forward to the DHCP client. Okay, this is just a normal process where the negotiation between the DHCP client and the servers is happening, and in this way the client will get the IP addresses. Let's just move ahead. How, where the role of the hackers, and now how they are just attacking or why they are attacking. Before just saying it, I just captured the packet with the help of the Wireshark. Okay, so just it's just not I'm saying I'm saying then you need to uh, uh, you need to just faith on me. Yes, I'm saying correctly. So just even you can capture the packet by own, and then you can say, okay, this is the discovery packet, this is the offer acknowledgement request. You can just also say while see here just you will see there is a discovery. Okay, and it is broadcasting. Clear? You can see here 255.255.255.255 minutes of broadcasted. Even in the MAC address of that client, you can say it is also sending the broadcast. This is for example, say PCA is sending a broadcast message to the DHCP server. Okay, so this is the DHCP, and here you can say there is a discovery. You can say, so it is discovery. Okay, message type is discovery, and here is the broadcast MAC address, and here is the broadcast uh, address for the network. Clear? And in the next, when the DHCP server will say, yes, I'm offering you a IP address. So here is the IP address is offering 192.168.0.1.3. Okay, and it is the IP address of the DHCP server. This is the DHCP server IP. Okay, and this is the IP address it is offering to the client. Okay, and you can see here this is the offer message. Zoom it. Okay, so it is offer. In the next packet you can see here now it's sending a request. Again it's broadcast. You can see here this is broadcast. Clear? So it is request, DHCP request, and you can also see here in the message it is request. Now the client is requesting, I need the IP addresses 192.168.0.1.0.3 which you offered to. Clear? And in the next packet, the DHCP server will send a, yes, I'm just assigning this IP address to you. Okay, so the IP address is assigned to the client A. So these are the processes it's working. Now hacker just come in the picture, because DHCP server is just handling a lot of information about the IP addresses to whom it assigned. Okay, what are the other details, the MAC address of that one. So the lot of information which required by the hackers, they can get those information. Clear? Now the, they want to approach before the DHCP server, which is the legitimate server established by the company, and this is the rogue DHCP server which is established by the hacker. Okay, and in this way when the new client will come, it will just assign the IP address before it will assign, or it will generate a attack where whatsoever is the scope of the IP addresses, what the network uh, complete network we have assigned to that on this DHCP server. Yeah, this is the IP address range you need to assign to the client who will request to you. For example, with the help of the some attack, there are many ways to perform that attack. I'll show you one of. Make uh, just out of all the IP addresses. So it will just send a bogus list of the MAC addresses request to the server, because server doesn't know whether that's coming from the uh, system generated query or request it's receiving, or that's receiving the request from the legitimate PC. Okay, because it doesn't know. So with the attacker will send an so many MAC addresses. Say here you can see in this picture. Uh, Yersinia is the one of the attacking tool in the Kali Linux that I used to perform the attack and made busy the DHCP server, and now the DHCP server is not having any IP addresses. The complete list is full. Now that's a full table. It's not able to assign any IP address to the legitimate user. So when a client will request, hacker DHCP server will present itself as I am the DHCP server, and they will assign IP address to the client, and now they are having the detailed information about the normal client which will the victim of this attack. Okay, so in this way hackers are performing the attack. Then they can use that information to for the man in middle attack inform just to see whatever the information is passing through that particular PC. They can observe and lot many things they can perform. Okay, so hackers can do all these things. So was it is so awesome how the hackers are just doing all these things. Yeah, there is a way to secure it. In another session I'll discuss about it, how just we can provide security to our DHCP server uh, uh, from such kind of attack. That's possible. Okay, and follow me on the cybersecurity prism and get the notification for the interesting and informative session. Also share that session with your friends and group members so that they will be able to understand what type of DHCP server attack is and how the hackers can perform those attacks and what's the importance of the DHCP server in the network or in the organization. Okay, and in the next session I will discuss about how to protect your Wi-Fi router from hackers. Namaste. See you in the next session.